Today, we're going to talk about how the YouTube algorithm is changing, possibly for the worse, how that affects the YouTube ecosystem, and what that might imply for the future. Welcome to Catching You Up with
the Nadav. It's overpowered.
Now's a good time to remind you, comment, like, subscribe. It all helps the algorithm. Firstly, I'd like to thank the executive producer of this episode, Colin Haley. Without their big baller support, honestly, I'd probably be doing a lot of research on Bernie Madoff, kind of like figure out what his playbook was and then just apply that to my schemes. So I'd find like a first initial investor, which would be honestly probably the hardest part, but I'm a schmoozer and I'm Jewish, so I could probably figure it out. And then I'd use money from that second investor to pay off that first investor, slice off a little from the top for living expenses, and then just rinse and repeat for like 40 years until they finally catch me, but then, fly to a country that doesn't have extradition laws like, I don't know, what is it? Bulgaria or I don't know, Cayman Islands, somewhere where money is safe and, it protects criminals. But, because of Colin Haley's big baller support, I don't have to do that. And if you'd like to become a big baller supporter of this show, you can go ahead and click the Patreon link in the description below. So what the hell is going on with YouTube? For the longest time, if you watched like 2 or 3 videos in a particular lane, let's call it MMA or UFC type videos, that would be the majority of your homepage. And if you experience YouTube the way I experience it, I look at my homepage, I look at all the videos that I'd want to watch, I just open up new tabs for everything, and it would take a lot of time to cycle through all that content. Shouts out to MMA on point. It kept you in a rabbit hole on the platform, and that's the most important thing that a website wants to do, is to keep you on their site. However, with all these social media platforms beginning to compete with each other, they all start absorbing each other's features to give you less reason to leave their platform for a feature that's offered on something else. Case in point, remember Vine, where you just upload like really short, like 6-second videos? And remember how Instagram used to just be a platform where you share your photos to? Well, one day they said, hey Vine, why don't you go fuck yourself? You can now upload short form videos onto Instagram. And just like that, Vine ended. Let's take a quick break and thank the sponsor of this episode, ShoundShed Studios. If you're in the Austin area and you're looking to record a podcast or even just record one side of a phone conversation, because Texas is a one-party state when it comes to recording phone calls, why not record it in 4K with great audio, high-quality fidelity? ShoundShed Studio has gotten me out of multiple binds, and honestly, it's a one-stop shop for everything you need for podcast recording. Why reinvent the wheel when the wheel is already here for you to use for a very affordable rate? Go to ShoundShedAV.com right now to schedule an appointment, a consultation. They even build podcast studios. And we'd like to thank ShoundShed Studios for sponsoring this show. Let's get back into it. Let's also take a look at Patreon. And Patreon was such a powerful model because it allowed your fans to pay you a recurring fee every single month, simply just to support you to keep making the content that they like. So creators are now getting a steady monthly income that's not wild in variability, where they could actually focus on making the content that their fans want to see. YouTube took that model and turned that into channel memberships, which is literally just the YouTube version of Patreon. Now look, channel memberships had major bugs for years. It's still kind of meh, but it's not hurting their bottom line. It's still bringing in revenue. But I still remember being on a call with one of the devs in our YouTube contact and saying, hey, is there a way to schedule a channel membership video to go up at a specific time? Or do we just have to manually do that? And also, for some reason, channel membership videos don't allow you to play YouTube videos in the background if you have YouTube Premium. Someone that is now willing to pay double for YouTube Premium and for channel memberships now can't take their YouTube Premium features and apply it to the channel memberships, thus making it just an easier decision for them to just stick to YouTube Premium and not pay for channel memberships. It was completely fucked. But YouTube makes way too much money off YouTube ad revenue to put too much focus in new features. If it's bringing in money for them, that's good enough. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to work enough. And now it's getting to the point where pretty much every social media platform, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, whatever you want to call it, are all just kind of stealing each other's features, where all of it is pretty much just the same site at this point. Just who's doing the thing you like better. But here's where it gets interesting. I've noticed lately that my homepage looks a lot different than it used to. Instead of filling up my homepage with 95% of videos that it knows I'm going to like, it's now throwing in way more stuff that's like very low view count from very small channels, and honestly just a whole bunch of stuff that I definitely have no interest in. It's now taking up the space of something that I would have wanted to watch, opened up a new tab, spent more time on their website, and now they're kind of killing that real estate with unwatchable stuff. Not unwatchable, just stuff I particularly really don't want to watch. So instead of recommending me guaranteed bangers on my homepage, it's now taking risks in showing me videos from much smaller channels that I've never heard of, never seen, and maybe they're kind of covering a topic that I've showed interest in, but just seeing all the metrics on the video, like, I don't know these people, it's a terrible thumbnail, like, why would I even click on this? And yes, this is great for small/new creators because it's giving them visibility. But in a business sense, this is bad for the platform. Because now instead of showing me a page full of things that I feel like I have to watch because that's my entertainment, I'm now maybe like, I'll watch a third of these. And now YouTube is getting even less information on what I actually like to watch. And not only that, but YouTube is now also pushing YouTube Shorts like crazy, which is their version of Instagram Reels or TikToks. Normally, I wouldn't see too much of a problem with this, but they are legit starting to get out of their lane a little bit. Instagram and TikTok are the kings of short-form content, and YouTube has been the absolute champion of long-form content in the free streaming space of new media. Probably like close to 2 decades. And now they're trying to focus more on their short-form content, which in my opinion is a huge mistake, because that's not what you go to YouTube for. At least I don't. Now, there's pros and cons to this. Firstly, if a creator is posting YouTube Shorts, since it's a relatively new program for YouTube, YouTube is overpowering the visibility of some of these shorts. YouTube wants shorts to work on their platform. So right now, it's overpowered in that it's a great way to get on the radar of new potential fans. However, that's kind of its only strength, though, that I could tell. I've personally seen shorts with millions of views that bring in a couple $100 for the creator, while a long-form podcast of something that has millions of views will bring in thousands of dollars for that creator. Now, if there's a banger guest on that long-form podcast, yes, it could probably gain a lot more subscribers for that channel, but it's much more checked and balanced, where it'll really promote more steady growth than anything. But YouTube Shorts, I think, is the mechanism that you could use right now very effectively to spike your subscribers. And here's the thing I don't like about it. They are shoving YouTube Shorts down your throat. If you're going anywhere on YouTube as you're scrolling, you're seeing multiple rows of shorts being offered to you at any given time. And it's distracting you from the long form that you came to YouTube to watch, which in my opinion is kind of bad. It's changing the reason why you like YouTube, which is kind of a crazy move. You're trying to find that long form podcast that you like, and on the way over there, there's at least 2 to 3 different sections of shorts that are going to distract you on the way over there. And yeah, I've clicked on a bunch of them, and I've found myself in wild YouTube Shorts rabbit holes that are actually kind of wild. And I've found new channels that I liked. Shouts out to Street Beats. But sometimes it'll take me an hour or two to realize, oh my God, I've been in this YouTube short rabbit hole for way too long. And that's not why I come to this platform. In my opinion, YouTube is weakening its greatest strength. Plus, if they wanted YouTube Shorts to succeed more, they'd make it a lot more rewarding financially for creators, which it doesn't, at least currently. Here's an example of it. So I found myself in a YouTube short rabbit hole, and this channel started popping up on my feed called Pirate Software. He's actually pretty great. I think his name is Thor. He worked in the gaming industry as a security tech, something like that. He gives a lot of advice to people that want to get into the gaming industry. But the advice that he gives is kind of so vague, not vague, but non-specific to the industry that you could really apply his advice to any industry you want to get into, which is kind of the genius of his channel and why I like his content so much.
I'm stuck in burnout, have professional help for that though. Finding you gave me the motivation to start learning coding, but due to the constant brain fog and low energy, I'm not really able to learn completely new stuff.
Everyone learns something at their own pace. When I was recovering from COVID, it took me about 2.5 years fully to recover from it. I had long COVID, and I almost died. And as I was recovering from that, I basically couldn't do anything. I couldn't program, I couldn't do art, I couldn't write. I would forget words all the time. It was deeply frustrating, so I understand what you're going through. Very keenly aware of that. And I had to relearn those things. And it felt like a step back. It felt like I lost a lot of time. But now I can do all the things that I used to do before and more. It just takes time. It takes time for you to overcome the things you need to in the way you need to. There are some things that I used to be able to do that I just don't do anymore. There's some things I can do better now. Adapt. You will be a different person tomorrow than you are today, and that is okay. Don't ever feel like you're missing out.
He's funny, he's engaging, and you always feel like you're learning something when you're watching his stuff. At least the stuff that YouTube has recommended to me, which is why I've kind of become a fan of Pirate Software.
Why do you think I try to put so many motivational shorts up? Because I know you're doom scrolling, and I know when you find one of those, it snaps you out of it. I try to put up as many motivational shorts as possible, so they're like landmines for doom scrolling. That's the whole point. You find me in that doom scroll, and it breaks the doom scroll. That's the point of it. Get off your goddamn phone. Yeah.
And I even remember him saying that when YouTube Shorts started and he started uploading YouTube Shorts, he saw a gigantic spike in subscribers. And this is after he'd already been streaming for like a pretty decent amount of time. But that's when he really popped, which is interesting because you know what happens when you start gaining a lot of subscribers? They'll start watching your longer form content. Then your ad revenue starts spiking because of a short that doesn't make you money, but does give you subscribers. It's a bit of a double-edged sword because it takes extra work to give you something that doesn't give you financial rewards directly in return. But, you know, 1 or 2 steps removed, it will. But it's hard for some people to see the value in it. Honestly, I think it takes a lot of people some time to realize the value, because they just see it as extra work that doesn't make the money. But honestly, Pirate Software is a great dude. He's really wholesome. Whether you're into gaming or deving or neither of those, you're just into someone that has kind of good life advice, it's a great follow. I'll have a link to his channel in the description below if you're interested. So the mechanics of YouTube is changing, and it seems like they're really dividing their focus, which is a dangerous game to play for you. They are untouchable in long form content. Just take a look at all the comedians that are posting their full specials to YouTube and smashing it, using it as a launching platform to start landing Netflix deals and Amazon deals and television. If you tap into the algorithm the right way, you really will fucking explode. Take a look at Stavros Halkis or Matt Wright. They tapped into the algorithm and exploded from just uploading their stand-up clips. That's impressive as hell. That's great for creators and it's great for fans. It's connecting audiences to things that they'd like. But if there was a time for a competitor to step up to YouTube, now would be the time. Rumble, that's you. I'm talking to Rumble. And Rumble really could be crushing it with just a couple tweaks to their approach. A Rumble representative reached out to me and asked me to start uploading to their platform, but to make sure to put their name as the referral thing. Like it seemed like an affiliate marketing type of deal where it seemed a little weird to me, but it wasn't at rumble.com email. So it was from someone that worked. I asked them, what is the incentive to start uploading to Rumble? Their answer to that was, we offer the exact same type of ad revenue split as YouTube does. And that was their reason to join their platform. And I was like, but I kind of already get that from YouTube. And you have a much smaller viewership. And then if I'm starting to upload to Rumble, what I'm really doing now is splitting up my viewership so that some of them could watch on YouTube, some of them could watch on Rumble. And what it's really doing is now hurting me on the algorithm on both platforms. I asked them if there was a deal we could work out, where every once in a while, they would push one of my videos onto their homepage, which is a tactic that a lot of platforms have used to try and attract creators to their platform. I remember back when I worked at Machinima, they had a deal with Twitch where part of the deal was that Twitch would put the Machinima live streaming channel on the homepage for everyone as a featured channel. And it would give crazy spikes to whatever show was streaming on that channel at the time. And it's a wildly good incentive. Hey, we're gonna help you find a new audience that's probably gonna like your stuff. That's very attractive to creators. But Rumble offered none of that. They just said, we're offering the same thing that YouTube offers, and that's a pretty good deal. And let me tell you, as a creator, that's not a very enticing incentive to start uploading to another platform. Hey, we're just like the platform that you're currently uploading to, and there's no pros or cons. Like, it's literally the same. It could really only hurt you to upload. And with all that being said, I will probably start uploading to Rumble pretty soon, because I did do some investigating on some shows that are in the space. And they're doing surprisingly good numbers with a surprisingly low amount of subscribers, which means Rumble is pushing a lot of stuff that YouTube just kind of doesn't. Maybe it's because there's so few creators on Rumble where it's just a lot easier to push things in certain directions, but the numbers were super interesting to me in the case studies that I looked at. And because of these shifts in algorithms, it's always better to be an early adopter of a new platform than a late adopter. But it's an interesting time to be in the long-form new media space that's free, like not counting Netflix or Hulu, but like YouTube, Rumble, and Twitch and stuff like that. I so badly want a competitor to start climbing the ranks and actually bring real competition to YouTube, because competition between two platforms is going to create very cool opportunities for creators, for fans, for advertisers, literally everyone in the ecosystem. Will that happen? Probably not anytime soon. Maybe give it a couple years, but boy, a Jew could dream. I'd like to take this time to remind you to comment, like, and subscribe. It all helps with the algorithm. I'd also like to take the time right now to thank all the people that you're seeing on screen right now. They're all my producers / supporters from Patreon, and without their help and support, it would be so much more difficult to consistently and regularly put out the product that I do. And every bit of support means so much to me. It genuinely does. And if you'd like to become a producer of this show, you can go ahead and click the Patreon link in the description below. Thank you for watching this episode of Catching You Up With
Nadav, it's go bits.
But most importantly, I'd like to remind you,
This is a totally unconfirmed news.
catch you next week.